Hello, 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 and welcome to episode 6 of the Cooler Guild. I am your host, Coop, and joined with me is my co-host, Van.
What's up?
We are recording this episode on Wednesday, July 10th, 2024. And we got some exciting thing going on with this episode. It's our first episode officially under Sounder at Heart.
Yeah, we're stoked to join the podcast network.
Baffling to me that people are in. I mean, I guess it's not that surprising. There hasn't really been a lot out there on a weekly basis for the rain in terms of podcast coverage. So we're like so happy. I think that we kind of are getting the seal of approval from something as notable as Sounder Heart.
We've looked up to those people and like read everything they put out since the beginning.
I've made friends with like a lot of people from there too. So
Yeah, I mean the entire like Seattle soccer community supporting us and getting behind us has really been like absolutely just like mind blowing.
yeah, I really, really want to thank Jeremiah
Yeah, what a guy.
for kind of, I don't know, getting us this opportunity. What a guy. So going forward, the Cooler Guild will now be part of the Sounder at Heart podcast network. In addition to remaining available on our podcast feed, Sounder at Heart subscribers can now listen to us on the unified network feed where all the network podcasts are available. To learn more about supporting our show and getting access to the feed as well as the rest of Sounder at Heart content, you can visit sounderatheart.com/, the Cooler Guild.
In today's episode, we're going to be discussing Reigns' latest result against the Utah Royals from Sunday at Lumen Field.
Oh, like a loss. Not gonna lie.
Always does.
Not great. You know, Laura Harvey said this was deja vu. And let me tell you what, Laura Harvey, no one makes it feel like this feels like deja vu for us, especially because we're just episode after episode talking about the same thing.
Yeah, it wouldn't be so bad if we hadn't decided to start this podcast and then have to keep talking about the same crap every game.
Our first episode that we dropped, that was a loss. And I think we had like we did a few practice episodes to make sure we didn't sound like shit, but we had recorded the win that we had. And we felt like, I don't know, maybe it was gonna go better by now. Especially since we won a game with an early red card. And how
Yeah.
can we not do that now?
I don't know.
All right. Do you want to do a little match recap?
Sure. Rain played Sunday in Seattle. It was really hot. Hot day. I was in California, but it's hot in Seattle. The Rain played against the Utah Royals for the first time since Utah rejoined the NWSL. After a scoreless first half, the Rain dominated most of the possession. But the second half kicked off, and 5 minutes later, the Rain found the back of the net, only to have the call reversed via VAR for a foul by Boats. I don't agree.
Controversy. There's controversy.
I don't agree. We can talk about it later,
Okay.
but
I'm not in that camp. I thought it was fine.
moving on, but in the 67th minute, so like 17 minutes later, Ali Sentner blocked Alana Cook's pass out of the back and took advantage of it, and she killed it. She absolutely put that one in the back of the net.
Embarrassed us.
Yeah, it was terrible. But just after that, 12 minutes later, Latsko hit one in. So she had come off the bench and finished the game off for us, and the game ended in a 1-1 draw.
Not great. Not great. Once again, not great.
Once again, a tie that felt like a loss.
Yeah, this one almost. I mean, the other one was obviously it definitely felt worse the way it ended. But like, this is
Right.
the game where you're playing the one team that's below you in the standings that's been doing worse than you in ways that like they actually look worse.
Yeah.
It seems like if we played a team like that, we should be beating them.
Yeah, I mean, and even though we are a not great squad with a good coach, we have had some consistency. And what, 2 weeks ago, Utah fired their head coach.
Yeah.
And so now they're under their interim head coach, which was their goalkeeper coach. And they come in, and I'm not dissing goalkeeper coach like by any means, because I think goalkeepers make the best coaches, but it seems like there was a huge shakeup in that organization.
Yeah.
And they've been bad, and we've been bad, and there's been no shakeup in our organization.
They're also a new organization. So they're a new organization, right? Like, back new, whatever, but new organization, and they fired their coach. So like Laura Harvey, veteran of the league, Laura Harvey, we should have had this. This should have been a win.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's one of those like the press or whatever afterwards. It's just she said, deja vu, same issues, exact same issues we're dealing with, right? Lack of quality on finishing, lack of quality overall. It's not just this lack of quality in passing, lack of quality in the defending. Those lapses that we have, we might be good for the majority of the match, but all it takes is like one chance from someone like Sentnor.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
And one mistake. And sure, like we dominated possession. Ciara King had a lot of opportunities. If the scoreline was different, we might say, oh, she played really well.
Mm-hmm.
But the scoreline the way it is,
Mm-hmm.
those missed opportunities add up.
Yeah, her and Boats, I think you need to call out both of them.
Yeah.
So I think Boats keeps having these huge opportunities and isn't taking them. So or at least not taking them and scoring.
It was like very much, I rewatched the episode, but I was actually listening to it on somebody's phone, and it just sounded like the first half. The first time I'm, listening to the game, that oh, we had great possession, we're getting in, we're creating opportunities, but nothing was
Hmm.
happening.
Yeah, I was like actively screaming at my TV. Alex was like, "You need to be quiet." And I think I had my window open too because it was, super hot. And so I had my window open. I'm sure my late neighbor's house is like maybe 10, 12 feet away from our house. So I was just screaming because I just like it was so this game especially was so frustrating because it did feel like this is the one that we're gonna turn it around, like, or at least this is the one we're gonna get the win before we go into this break, right? And it didn't happen. And I mean, I had tweeted, I was like, if we don't win this game, I don't see a path for us to turn the season around. Because if we
Yeah,
can't beat this team, I don't see it.
but there's also like in the same frame that I talk about like how we have a consistency that they don't have because they just fired their head coach.
Hmm.
That can also add an X factor of those players have something to prove, right?
Hmm.
When you are bringing in a new coach or a new leadership.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look at what's happened when our team when the rain has really screwed things up,
Hmm.
saying gone down a player 8 minutes into the game. What do? They deal with adversity and they win games.
They go down a goal, they score a goal.
Yeah. So I think there's something to be said about that. And like credit to them. They fought through, they went up a goal. But at the same time, you have to expect better from a group like the Rain.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I did point out to you, I think the last episode, I don't know if I edited it out or not, but I did say, like, Utah did just fire their coach, and it could be one of those moments where the players will figure something out and find a way to get a result. And
Yeah.
I wasn't shocked by this result because knowing that, but I still expect better of this team, and I know they're capable of more.
But are they capable of more? Like I feel like we are reaching the end
Yeah.
of the abilities of this roster.
I would say I would say against this Utah team, they were capable. I would say against this team they were. I wouldn't have maybe said that about other. The thing is they got a pretty good, like, the result that they just had against Gotham was a good result for them, right? So like
Yeah.
they play well against Gotham. I'm expecting you to go get the win against the team that's below you, and it is below you because you can see how bad they are.
But you have to think about it in the sense that like are the Rain are so poor at this point that they are playing to the level of their opponent.
Yeah, that's the question we're trying to figure out, right?
I mean, it's not our job to figure out, but the fact that like we can see these things as
Mm-hmm.
fans
Mm-hmm.
makes it oh so apparent that there's an issue other than the organization of the squad on game day.
Mm-hmm.
There's an issue with the squad
Yeah.
because the lineup itself isn't doing it. You can paint it however you want and put them in whatever places you want. They're not getting results.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we brought in the two players that we brought in that, like, we haven't seen much from in quite a while because they were starting when they came in. Two Welsh players. They're just kind of, I think it just seems like we've just kind of, I don't know, given up on them starting, or if it's just Laura Harvey trying to rotate everybody and trying to still figure out magic sauce, secret sauce, whatever. That takes up two international spots. So if we're not playing them, I'm a little like
Yeah.
confused.
I mean, we haven't really been able to make any more moves. We don't know how much money they came here
Hmm.
for. That's kind of the problem with NWSL. Like you can't see there's not the transparency.
Yeah, transparency lacking for sure.
We don't know in that sense. But yeah, they're taking up two international spots. They aren't always playing. James Turner had a decent game this last game, was helpful in the goal.
Yeah, I've been pretty happy with what I've seen from her at times.
I mean, I think Woodham's done well, like the opportunities that she's had since
Yeah.
she started and like played really well
Yeah.
and then like kind of wasn't starting so much and came on
Hmm.
and was kind of mediocre. But the last couple of games she's played, she's looked pretty good.
Yeah.
I think that there's got to be some consideration in that. But we talk about rotation. Laura Harvey's rotating the lineup. Is she really? I don't think so. She's rotating the lineup in the sense that she's changing how we're lining up, but she's not really changing the personnel.
Well,
It was hot that day. It was hot.
it was hot. It was 88, 90 degrees. I think photographer Jane, shout out
Shout out Shane.
Jane. She was saying that the turf was like 110 degrees
Oh, it had to be.
and she was like getting burns, like maybe had a burn on her from all
Oh
that. So
no.
I know we never want to see that for Jane, especially.
No.
Like and then like on TV, right? It didn't look like there was very many fans there because they all had moved to like the shadiest spot.
Which I didn't know because I was watching it on TV.
You couldn't see it unless they were on that corner, right? Like, in that corner because you really couldn't see. But like a bunch of people are just crowded over that, and I don't blame them. I mean, this is the problem with like the way that things are set up. They make these games. I've once again, why are we having games in the middle of the day? In
Mhm.
the summertime, we're having to deal with these immense temperatures that are not going away in the summer.
No, we keep pretending like, oh, it was just hot this year. No, this is like years on end now.
No, they should be playing these games later for sure. Once the sun starts going down or something. But
But it's hard because it's a Sunday game because they're not giving us
hmm
Saturday night games.
they could even. I mean, I don't know how well a Friday night game would go, but that would be an option too if they did the right advertising and marketing for that. I think that would be good. I mean, they do Friday night matches for the NWSL, so like, what's the deal with the Rain? Maybe not hosting those. I don't know. They seem to always get the Sunday afternoon slot, and I think especially for summer, that's
Yeah.
just kind of fucked up because people are like they're out and about. They want to go out on Saturday nights, whatever, and no. The other problem is that which the attendance for the Rain match in the heat and everything else combined 6,276, which is quite a drop
Yeah.
off from the Louisville game, which got over 10K. But another crime against the gays. Another crime against the gays as far as scheduling. The Storm game against the Chicago Sky. I don't know if you've heard about the Chicago Sky lately, was happening at the exact same time.
Why?
Like, what do you, and it, like, okay, you're like a Seattle sports fan and it's a scorching fucking 90 degrees outside. Would you rather go inside where there's air conditioning and watch, I don't know, Angel Reese and the entire Seattle Storm like, in air conditioning, or would you rather go sit in the blazing sun and watch the second to last place rain?
Yeah, I mean that's a choice that people shouldn't have to make. That women's sports fans shouldn't have to make in
No,
Seattle
no.
because there's so many we have so many good players on both sides, and generally the people that want to go watch Storm games are the people that are going to go to Rain
There's
games.
definitely like the two, like that. There's a crossover for sure.
Yeah, I mean the crossover is bigger for that than I would say it is for
Sounders.
Sounders.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would say that. Yeah, I would say we've seen that. I mean, they've done like the Storm and Rain joint stuff before, so
the Rainstorm.
yeah. And the Storm. Okay, so I will say that I think the Rain attendance wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be, but considering they got like a little over 11,000 at the Storm game, I feel like getting a little over 6,000 is not bad.
No, it's not terrible. And with the heat and with the way that people are placed at
Yeah.
Lumen for Ring Game, which is on that east side, which is in the
Oh,
sun,
it's so brutal. It's
it's
so
brutal.
brutal. It's so hard to sit over there when it's that hot. You're just like
Yeah.
sweat, and then people sit for those matches too. So you're just like sitting in your sweaty seat.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's not good at all.
The Rain are still sitting on the fact that they haven't won since May 3rd.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're over 2 months in now since a win.
Fair weather sports fans, it's a little hard to avoid in Seattle, I think. We see with the Mariners, we've seen it with, I mean, not the Seahawks. People want to see teams play well, and also the Rain will just keep being this drum, but they haven't found the big names to replace Roosevelt, Megan Rapinoe. You're gonna go out on a Sunday and get a sunburn, and I'm not saying there's not big names on the Rain still right now. We're seeing clubs elsewhere sending off their U.S. Olympians. And the NWSL is an American league. I don't need an Olympian from the US, but like, can we get someone who's like world renowned and that high level of world class player kind of
Yeah, I mean
stuff?
it's really hard because our bar was set so high.
Yeah.
So, when you create a team with somebody like Megan Rapinoe and they become an international name for multiple reasons and are a
hmm
draw from so many different facets of society, right? to come watch the game,
Yeah.
and you lose that.
You can't replace Megan Rapinoe.
You really can't.
No, you
But I
can't.
think that too, you're right. And we've tried really hard to make somebody on our team like a household name, and nobody's really performing in a way that would make that a reality, right?
Yep.
So bring somebody in, and I think that
That's the next step.
that's the next step. And hopefully moving forward, like we'll get some, whether it's somebody that Laura Harvey will miraculously decide to start playing, or somebody that she's totally bought in on.
Yeah.
It wasn't a terrible game for the Reign. I mean, minus the fact that they didn't win the game, minus the fact that they were not productive. If you want to be a stats person and look at it, it wasn't the worst thing that ever happened, right?
Yeah, they had shots. There was, a VAR call. We held possession. They had some big chances. All of the things you want to see from a team were there. It's just that those final little touches that were lacking to really make
Yeah.
this like a, I don't know, what's the word? Like a show. You know what I mean?
Like a definitive performance.
Exactly. Yeah. And we don't really have that.
No, we haven't seen that. We've seen comebacks, we've seen kind of like wins that we shouldn't have
Hmm.
won, but there's not been a definitive performance when you say this group is good enough to win games in this
Yeah, I
league.
want to see like a hungry, greedy team. I want that.
Yeah.
Either, right, because you either have like a hungry, greedy team that's just like dominating the shit and just scoring goals like crazy, or you've just got like a solid defense that can, just shut down opponents and then you can find your goal when you need to.
And I think Claudia Dickey played all right. I don't think she's the main problem of the Reign right now as far as like goals against,
Hmm.
but she got save of the week off of a save that she shouldn't have had to make.
And she was like the first person to admit that.
Yeah. And any good
Yeah.
goalkeeper would be that way. When
Yeah.
kudos to her. I mean, I like her.
Yeah.
If we keep her in and bring players in front of her, I think she will probably become like a steady number one. She seems to grow. She seems to understand the mistakes that she makes and not make those mistakes again.
Yeah.
It's hard. Like when you have somebody like Alana Cook, who you should be really confident in, who should be your stalwart and like your center back, and that player just making stupid mistakes.
Yeah. And it's not an easy thing to it's not I don't envy these players right now, right? Because it's not like they don't know that they're making mistakes. Like they know exactly what they're doing wrong. And for some reason they still can't get it right, every week.
Yeah.
Or they'll get it right again for most of the match, and then it's just that one time that takes to turn the whole game upside down. And so I don't envy these players having to reckon with that, and also like the criticism that comes with all of that
Right.
is not fun to like have to deal with by any means. So I don't, it's just this is one of those situations where like I feel like this is where Laura Harvey is supposed to like rise up and figure it all out.
Yeah, but you can only do so much with the hand that you're dealt, right?
Yeah, we keep going back to that. It's so annoying. Okay, I think we just need to move on from that because I really just
It's so frustrating. We've done this for like a month and a half
it's
now.
an infinity. It's an infinity. We're gonna have to get infinity tattoos on us soon, and it's gonna say the rain above it. Okay, so let's maybe talk about any other positives we saw. So we got Claudia Dickey. I think that's she saw mistakes, she knew them, but she did
Yeah.
pretty well overall. I know there's been a lot of criticism for
Mhm.
Sarah King, but I think switching her side, like to the right, has been pretty good. I've been pretty into it. I don't think she's as bad as some people are making her out to be. I really don't. I think she's like good at passing. She's pretty dynamic. It's the same thing that's lacking with everybody else in the front, where she doesn't know how to fit it, like his fishing.
Right, but that's my kind of qualm with it is like sure she was more creative on that side and
Yeah.
created better chances, but still was not productive. And so that's
Yeah.
kind of my takeaway is like she might have looked better, but it didn't make the team any better. We didn't get scored on.
We didn't get scored on right out of the half or at the beginning of the match, which is great. It was hilarious because the commentator was talking about. Did you listen to that
Oh
part?
yeah, I heard
The
that.
commentator was just like, yeah, Laura Harvey has been trying like all sorts of different things and taking the team like back into the field after halftime. So whatever it was this time, hopefully she made note of whatever it was because they did not concede right out of the half. In fact, they had a very good goal opportunity, which I guess maybe now is a good time to transition into the VAR call, the goal opportunity after the half.
I don't know. I thought it was soft. So Cross came in, right? And Mandy Houck comes out and gets it. And Balser is right there with the defender, a little bit behind her. And Houck comes out to get it. and kind of reaches over the defender. She got the ball, but then she lets go of it before any contact. And that's my biggest gripe with it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
she comes out to get it, gets her hands on it, but doesn't catch it, and then gets hit. And
Okay. I can see that argument.
on further review, it looks as if Bethany Balcer might have extended her left arm to the defender to push her into the goalkeeper, which I can also
Mm-hmm.
see that argument.
Yeah. That's the side I'm on is
But for me, if you're going to come out and get the ball as a goalkeeper, if you're going to come out and get
uh-huh.
the ball, it's all or nothing. And
Yeah.
the fact that she let go of the ball before contact,
Yeah.
she gave up.
Yeah.
And so but you can't really argue that because there's no real rules
Mm-hmm.
regarding that.
If the refs are arguing Bethany Balcer fouled, the defender, and then the defender inherently runs into the keeper because of the foul, whatever. There was a slight push, whether or not, like
Yeah, I mean the arm extended, you
yeah,
could see
yeah. So
it.
there was a push. So to me, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I'd be fucking pissed if that was our keeper. I'd be upset if it was our keeper and like I saw her get barreled in by like the forward pushing my own defender in front of, like if that whole sequence happened to us, I'd be pissed.
She let go of the ball. She let go of the ball before she got hit. And you call it a goal on the field, right? And so that's the other thing is like, was there clear and obvious evidence that the foul caused the goal? And in my
Yeah.
view, as a goalkeeper, if I let go of the ball before I got hit, that's my own fault. It's not because I got hit.
Yeah. My issue is she couldn't get back up because Bethany wasn't even part of the play with the ball, right? So Bethany, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, that's because the goalkeeper came out over the top of everybody. But
I don't feel like this one's as clear as some people are making it out to be.
no, I don't think it is at all. And I think for me, if you call it a goal on the field, there needs to be clear and obvious evidence.
hmm
I don't agree with it, but I can see the other side. I don't know. It's one of those things where like could have gone either way, but the call on the field was a goal.
What I'm annoyed about is Laura Harvey afterwards, just
Yeah, do it
like
again.
digging in on her heels about this call, and she's like, "Well, that was a goal. That was a goal. That was a goal."
No, that was a
Okay, well, guess what? You didn't win the challenge.
well, there's a reason why we just talked about it for like 5 minutes because it was so convoluted, right? There's so many angles that you could take from that call, but don't you can't dwell on that.
Not for the coach. We can. We're just like a bunch of bums, though. Like
Yeah.
that call to me is not worth like trying to sit there and be like, "We that should have been a goal." Like, just no. Go score more fucking goals. Finish the other chances you had.
Yeah, and there were so many other chances.
Just go finish your chances. Don't complain about the VAR call.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm annoyed about that. And I don't get annoyed with like a lot of things that Harvey says, but that's particularly kind of annoyed me.
Yeah, and I think like it's still we need to give her a chance if we bring in more players. But if we're not bringing in more players, I mean, I'm kind of at a crossroads here where I'm getting sick of defending it because there's literally no movement.
Yeah, and I get she's probably more frustrated than all of us.
Right, but at the same time, like if you're that frustrated, you got to try something different.
Yeah.
And her trying something different has not worked.
Yeah, that would lead me to question some other stuff.
Oh God, 100%.
I don't know. It's so hard to speculate and figure out stuff that could change that might fix this. Would Sam Blady coming back help?
Oh, 100%.
Because the energy that he always seemed to have with the players, I'm not trying to say anything about what's going on there now because I don't know, but I know for sure that Sam Blady, he had a notable win when he was like taking over for Laura when she was like unavailable or whatever it was that one time, and he knows this group and he knows the program, like he gets it. I would be curious. I don't think he has a job right now, right?
I don't think so, but I think the intricacies of the coaching staff is very much like something that's above my pay grade. But what I know from the people that have worked in the organization that I talk to and things is that Laura Harvey likes to win the way that she likes to win. She doesn't really like screwing with things. And if the people that work within the system she likes to win in aren't working, then it's not her fault. And so she's not a person that's going to really like screw with that system. And I think that the thing that Sam Lady did was not be a yes man. He
Mhm.
challenged her. And I think that there's not really, from what I've heard, there seems to be a lack of adversity within the coaching staff and people polling for the players that aren't getting a lot of time. Does that make sense? I mean, does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel like that's just coaches in general. They play favorites and they have their people.
Yeah, some do.
Yeah, I don't know. Coaching stuff, something I think Laura maybe needs to reflect on.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Not like herself, but she maybe needs to figure out if she can surround herself with people that might kind of help figure out what the issues are, and maybe if we can get more out, if we can get more out of the squad, or what players we need exactly, because I don't feel like it's very clear what we need still.
No, it's not. And they're not. I mean, that's also the hard part too, is because she's notoriously vague.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think Leanne Sanderson's right, on the call from not this game, but the game before,
Mm-hmm.
saying the Reign need an out and out goal scorer.
Mm-hmm.
You need somebody like Chewinga. You need somebody like that coming in just to score goals.
Yeah.
And we have players that can play those balls into
Yep.
her.
Yep. Yeah. We absolutely do.
So I think that's one way you can solve it. But I don't know. One thing that I would change as an organization, if I was miraculously in charge of the Reign one day, would be that vagueness.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have an open communication, like with your fan base, like with the people that are supporting you and the communities that are supporting you, and letting them know, especially in times like this when you're absolutely awful, how you're going to make it better.
I would say I agree with that, obviously, but I we
I understand why you
yeah,
don't
yeah.
do
I
that.
think it's a problem within the league, though. I feel like we see this with like almost every single team. Whenever like big news drops about like a coach firing or a player being traded, like this happens everywhere. So I feel like it's just maybe the norm for the league. I don't know if we can change things like that.
But we've changed things other ways. Like why
Yeah.
not be that's something to take up with the front
Um.
office, who I have other issues with.
Oh, and we're kind of just rambling about a bunch of stuff going on, but I feel like that's kind of
I mean, it's all kind of pertinent, but
what do we break down from this match, right? Like it's the same shit. And I guess the one thing that happened is Latsko did what Latsko does, and she came off the bench and like did her thing.
yeah,
She does what,
she's coming off from injury,
yeah,
right?
she came back from injury, but she like scored that goal, and that's like a kind of goal that like, why is it only Latsko can like find those kind of goals? Just like
I don't know.
scrappiness, like go just find a way to get your foot or your head on the end of these balls in the box when they're just kind of bouncing around.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
And I'm no person in charge, but if I were to take one forward that we have on our lineup right now,
Let's go.
it would
Yeah.
be her. She came on and like I feel like she is very mature player in the way that she deals with things. Like when she starts, she understands her
Hmm.
role, and when she comes in off the bench, she understands her
Hmm.
role. And she came off the bench this game and was like, "All right, I got to change the game. I got to be a game changer." And she came on and did
She
exactly
did
that.
that. She did that in the playoffs.
I don't know how we don't give her more credit.
I mean, I feel like I do. I'm like always
I mean, I do
I
too.
remember when we signed her, I was like, this is like what probably the best signing just like added to our roster. Like to have that in your back pocket,
Yeah.
starting, subbing, whatever, if that's like a player everyone wants to have on their team, because she just knows she gets
Yeah.
it.
If I had to choose a cooler player of the match for this match, it would definitely be Latsko.
Yeah, me too. I again, I feel like maybe we need to hold off on giving someone it until we win a match, because
I don't know. She kept us from like losing 3 points. So
she did, because it was gonna be maybe the most embarrassing thing we've ever done this season,
yeah.
losing to Utah. So she saved us from that. So I guess for this match, yeah, we'll give it to her, and we can also add on to the cooler player of the match,
What do you want to add on?
the shade at Lumen Field, keeping people cool. If that's not, cooler player of the match, I don't know what is. So for
Fair.
everyone who showed up and got to go in that shade, shout out to the shade. No shade.
Stop.
So the shade and Lumen and Latsko, you're going into the cooler player of the match Hall of Fame.
Woo.
I I guess I'll say I watched the post-match pressers, and they had Latsko and Dickey on,
hmm
and their goal is still to make the playoffs and go on a run. They know they need to go on a run because that's the only way that they're getting to the playoffs is if they go on their run, and that they said that that's still their goal. I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah. That would make me really happy because I bet my buddy Ron a beer at the beginning before the season started
Yeah.
that even though we lost everyone, the Reign would still make the playoffs. So that would make me happy. But I mean, I like that that's their vision. Is it a reality at this point?
No. I
That's
mean,
hard. That's hard to
yeah.
fathom right now.
They understand where the bar is. So I guess that's good. They know that this isn't this isn't really acceptable in that they should still have ambitions.
Yeah, I mean, they've been saying for so many weeks.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I feel like we should just move on. I feel like there's really no point in just continuing. The Rain need to do something better. We're also going into a break, so it's just like we can decompress.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that was a good point to start the break. But also we have to go back and play them again.
It'll be a completely different lineup and
Oh, I
everything,
know,
but
I know.
yeah. We do they also got the players are getting a whole week off with the mandated week off.
We love a CBA. Unions
It was funny
forever.
because Laura was like, I thought that was kind of weird. I'm like, girl, I think she's just well, obviously she's like wants to just get back into things, and just try to get work done. But I'm like, whatever, they get a week
Yeah,
off.
to do the same thing again. Yeah. Let's just take some time off.
Especially us. Maybe we should get two
Yeah.
weeks off.
No, it's been nice to see the players like kind of relaxing and just getting away from things.
I think that's gonna be good. Give us time to reset, reboot, whatever. And then we've got a couple players going to the Olympics, a
Yeah.
couple Canadians,
We're gonna be talking a lot about Canada.
which we're not super familiar with. I was hoping we could talk about the U.S. Women's national team players that we have in our squad, but that's not gonna happen. But we'll do our best with Canada.
We got one in the
Yeah, we've
U20s.
watched, a lot of the U.S. beating Canada in the past, so we're
A lot of history with
basically
that.
experts. Those two players will be gone.
And that's Quinn and Jordan Heidema.
There's the U20 training camp because their World Cup is this year as well. It's August 31st to September 22nd. And I don't know if you've heard this name. Maybe we want to see more of her on the field. I think a few of us maybe feel this way. But Adame is going to be going to that camp, the last training camp before that World Cup.
Thank God. I mean, I like watching her play every time she comes on the field. Like there's some sort of magic there.
Hmm.
And I really dislike the fact that that has been overlooked at this point. But
She's young.
I'm stoked for her to like be able to come on and get into that camp and get some more time under a different system.
Yeah,
So
she's also gonna Sentinor is gonna be there as well, so maybe she can get some little tips from her. I was pulling up the stats between the two of them for the league when I saw that they were both going to the same camp. And I was like, man, I wish we were because Sentinor was so good in the game against us. I was like, man, I wish Adames
mhm.
could have been playing more. And Sentinor has played, which she's 2 years older, so that's kind of a lot, experience, 2 years. Center's gotten a little
Yeah.
over 1,400 minutes, 3 goals, 3 assists, 16 starts in all 16 matches he's played. And she's averaging right now a 7.3 for FOTMOB rating. And Adames, so compared to the 1,400 minutes ish, 290 minutes. We got to bump those
Mm.
numbers up, Laura. We got to get Adames on the field more. 3 starts. The camp that Adames is going to is July 8th to the 16th. There's 2 matches during that time that they're playing. So maybe we'll find some sort of stream to be able to see what kind of gameplay Adamas gets. Because if she has a decent showing there, then I feel like Laura Harvey can't avoid putting her in.
Watch her. Watch her.
I need it.
Watch her avoid that. No, she will 100% avoid
Yeah, I
that.
was like, I don't know if the competition's going to be there for Adamas.
Usually those games like historically have been on like ESPN
Okay.
Plus. I talk a lot of crap about like King missing chances, but Adamas came on and had like what 12 minutes or something and had a fantastic
Hmm.
strike that missed by like a foot
Imagine if she got to try that for more matches.
or longer than like 12 minutes.
Ugh, it's annoying the shit out of me. It's driving me nuts that she's not getting more minutes.
Next game though. So the Rain are in their break. The summer tournament with Liga MX Femenil starts. And our first game is Friday, July 19th, 6 p.m. at Lumen Field. We are facing again Utah Royals.
Real mystery what's gonna happen there.
Yeah, but you were saying that in Laura's presser, she talked about playing some of
Yep,
the
she
younger
wants to play the
players.
kids.
We're going to see Sam Meza?
If we don't, I'm gonna start a riot. I'm gonna start a riot. I'm gonna get the orcas. I don't know if because does Laura live on an island? She lives near an island. I'm gonna get the orcas and we're gonna go. I don't know, get a sign out for her. And I can't. We don't know. I need to know. I just need to know. Maybe she's not very good. I don't know. Maybe she's amazing and Laura just is saving it. I don't
Why would
know.
you save it when you're
Probably not
trash?
that.
Yeah, the summer tournament should be good. Get some players some minutes that haven't had some. That's what we're kind of looking forward to is July 19th. So 9 days from now.
Also, the Olympics are gonna be starting soon. There's going to be a watch party if people are interested in going to the watch party at Rough and Tumble in Seattle. I think we're gonna try to make it out there. It sounds like we're putting it in our books to go out there. I'm still not sure where my ankle's at with recovery.
You're fine. You just told me you don't wear your boot anymore. You're fine.
I like to make sure I have an opening and an excuse to not go to something. So this is that moment, in case I need to bail for whatever reason. They're gonna have rain players there beforehand, about an hour before the match, signing and doing pictures and stuff. But they're also gonna be doing giveaways.
Yeah, but it's a from a adoption agency for families.
Yeah, I think it's a organization that Lasco's partnered with, right?
Yeah, Gape Adoptions. Yeah, it seems like a cool organization, and I mean, I'll be there.
Yeah. We can meet some of you if you are out there. We're just as pleasant in real life, probably not.
Yeah, but it'll be with the rival owners for the new USLW club in Seattle.
The Ballard FC has joined the chat. I think that's kind of all we've got for this week. Sorry, it's kind of a mess. It's just the rain are kind of a mess.
It really is.
It's really not easy to do this week after week after week and just be sad.
Pretty
Sad
sad.
and embarrassed and just hoping things will change and they don't. But hopefully, in next NWSL match is
You have to look it up.
end of August. So end of August, August 25th, everything will change and everything will be good again. And
I wake up every morning hoping for a signing notification.
we're all waiting. I've heard some things, but we have no clue what any of those things might actually be. So we'll probably have a bonus episode coming out later, and we'll talk about the USLW, and we might dive a little bit into the situation going on with San Diego.
Yeah.
But a lot of exciting stuff's going on with the USLW, and Vans knows firsthand all that stuff. So I think we're gonna have some insight maybe that other people don't have, that because it's gonna be new for Ballard,
Yeah, new for Ballard.
but Van knows it.
Familiar to me. Very familiar
Yeah.
to me. But I think there's also some important happenings in the league that are not so positive, but are pretty relevant. We should
Mhm.
talk about, as well as a little bit of Olympics preview. So,
And yeah, I think we also can talk about the other new league that's joining.
oh yeah, the Super
Yeah, there's a
League.
lot going on in the background. And I think
There's a lot going
yeah, and
on.
it's going to affect the NWSL for sure.
I think Spokane's got 3 players, right? Signing for them that have played for the Rain.
Okay.
Definitely a bonus episode needed. A lot going on in women's soccer right now.
Yep. So we'll get to that. You can follow us on Twitter to find out more at Cooler Guild Pod. Email if you want to ever send us some suggestions, some helpful feedback. If you got something nice to say to us,
We love emails. We've never gotten one. Please send us an email.
you could be the first one to send us something nice. I don't know. The email is thecoolerguild@gmail.com. And now we can link you to our website, which is going to be on sounderatheart.com/thecoolerguild. And that's where you can go and you can click a subscribe button, and then we'll get part of that cut as well. So we can kind of put that back into the podcast, and
Yeah, buy a Sounder Heart subscription. I mean, you can support
it's worth it.
local coverage of soccer, men's soccer, women's soccer, independent media.
It's like supporter like funded.
Yeah, you don't have to go through any paywalls. It's all available. But the idea is that it's something that you enjoy reading, and so you're going to pay for it. And it's beautiful.
Yeah, they try to also make sure that it's not like bombarded with ads and everything like that. So it actually is like a very good site if you want to catch up on. I mean, I feel like most people who listen to this probably are aware of it, but I just can't say enough good things about it. And it's like pretty cool that we'll be on it now. One of you will be our first subscriber, and
It'll probably be my dad, honestly.
don't, don't wait. I'm actually a paid subscriber for Sounder at Heart before this all happened too. It's honestly not much money for like a full year of like everything, because there's different tiers and all that stuff. You can get access to like a Discord if you pay for a certain tier, and then there's like a whole community going on there, which is pretty fun to get into.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it.
I guess I want to do a special shout out also to Susie Rants.
Susie, you absolute gem of a human.
She's just like a great person, but she's been really supportive with all this stuff too for us in this podcast. I don't know what kind of part she played in us getting with Sounder at Heart, but sounds like she has been an advocate for us. So we're really appreciative of her and Jeremiah and everybody there who's kind of pushed this thing forward.
Even as fans before the podcast happened, having that connection with somebody who really cared about the team
Mm-hmm.
like we did, offer us like tickets when she had extra tickets, and just being there. Like the Seattle soccer community just continues to absolutely just blow my mind
Yeah. She gave
with,
me a ride to the airport.
yeah, so
Yeah.
supportive. Cool people, even cooler, like people to be connected with in a work sense.
Work sense, friend sense, all of it. It's great.
Shout out
Love it.
Susie.
Anyways, I think that's it for now. We'll be in your ears soon. I know Van loves when I say that. Go and rate us 5 stars wherever you listen to podcasts.
Rate, like, subscribe. We'll be here.
Oh, rate 5 though, only 5.
Only 5 stars.
5 stars, thanks. Okay, till next time.
Till next time.
Bye.
Bye. It's not Haney. It's
Start with an
like
H.
hot.
I've got it right here. Hot.
So who?
Hoot?
How?
Hot.
How? Hout. I think it's Hout.
Hout. Hout.